Welcome back to another episode of Card Anthology from Magic the Gathering. In this episode, we'll be going over the next major core set of the franchise. This set came after the expansion known as Saviors of Kamigawa. So, with that being said, let us go over the set known as 9th edition. Ninth edition was released on July 29th of the year 2005. It was designed and developed by Brian Schneider, Aaron Forsyth, Matt Place, Henry Stern, Paul Barkley with Randy Buehler, John Carter, Brady Domermuth, Mark Gottlieb, and Jonathan Tweet, along with Scott Norris being the art director of the set. The symbol of the core set was the number 9 in front of a fan of cards. There were a total of 359 cards with 110 commons, 110 uncommons, and 110 rares, with 9 cards only being seen in the core packs, along with 20 basic lands. Some of the cards reprinted in the set would be voted on the Daily Magic website by members of the community and would receive new artwork. This core set would also be the last set to be printed with the white borders, which was a feature that was started all the way back in Unlimited Edition, which to most players is known as 2nd edition. 9th edition was sold in 15 card booster packs, 2-player starter sets, fat packs, which would now feature 2 boxes to include more cards, with 5 theme decks, which was the White Army of Justice, the Blue Lofty Heights, the Black Dead Again, the Red World of Flame, and the Green Custom Creatures deck. This was also the first core set to be officially printed in the Russian language as well. While there are no new mechanics inside of the set, the keywords Protection and Trample would make a return from the 6th edition set. Along with that, 9th edition would be the first core set to have the keywords or enchantments and equipment, which was featured in the artifact theme Mirrodin block. There were a total of 2 cycles in 9th edition. The first cycle were the Lucky Charms, with this particular cycle being from the Darksteel expansion. These artifacts cost 2 mana and have an ability that allows the controller to gain life when a spell of a particular color is played. This cycle of cards include Angel's Feather, Demon's Horn, Dragon's Claw, Kraken's Eye, with the last card being Worm's Tooth. The next cycle were the Pain Lands, which were lands that can be tapped for 1 generic mana or be tapped for 1 of 2 colors if 1 life point is paid for. The Pain Lands were also broken down between allied colors and enemy colors. The allied color Pain Lands were Darkar Waste, Brushland, Underground River, Sulphur Springs, with the last allied color Pain Land being Carplusian Forest. The enemy color Pain Lands had the cards Battlefield Forge, Caves of Koilos, Llanowar Waste, Shivan Reef, with the last enemy color Pain Land being Yavimaya Coast. 3 match pairs were included in 9th edition, with the first pair being Baleful Stare and Withering Gaze. These cards were both blue sorceries that allowed the controllers to draw cards equal to the number of cards of a specific enemy color and land cards of a specific land type. Circle of Protection Black and Circle of Protection Red were originally cards of a cycle, but would end up being a match pair in this set. The protection cards were uncommon white enchantments with a mana cost ability to prevent damage from a specific source of color. The last match pair were the cards Execute and Slay. These uncommon instant spells would destroy a white or green creature respectively, and that creature could not be regenerated. With this 9th edition core set, there were a great number of reprints not only from 8th edition, but from other sets as well. Some of the reprints in 9th edition were Icy Manipulator, which was last seen in Mirrodin, Hypnotic Scepter, which was last seen in 4th edition, Form of the Dragon, which was previously seen in the Scourge expansion, Tidings, which was last seen in Starter 1999, Exhaustion, seen from all the Portal sets, along with Weird Harvest, which was printed from the Onslaught expansion. There were also some cards from 8th edition that were not printed in the set at all. Some of the bigger cards that came from 8th edition and did not see a reprint were cards such as Ensnaring Bridge, Bribery, Intruder Alarm, City of Brass, Birds of Paradise, Unsummon, Merchant Scroll, Vernal Bloom, along with the cards Coastal Piracy and Seismic Assault. With core sets being as large as they are, there were a plentiful amount of cards that affected the standard format, along with affecting a few decks from other formats. The first card on the list was Llanowar Elves, which was a 1/1 green creature that had the ability of tapping to add 1 green mana. In the standard format of its time, it was seen in 6 total decks, with the top 8 inclusion in 4 of the top 8 World decks at Worlds 2005. It was mostly used in a deck known as Ghazi Glare, with that particular deck style winning that same competition. The next card was Hell's Caretaker, a 1/1 black horror creature that had the tap ability of sacrificing a creature in order to get a creature back from the graveyard. While it did not receive any professional format inclusion, this card is used in the Commander format as part of Reanimator decks as a way of getting big powerful creatures from the graveyard onto the battlefield. Curd Ape was a 1/1 red 8 creature that had the ability of gaining +1/+2 as long as you controlled a forest. This card was involved in the standard format, the extended format, along with the modern and legacy formats, as it was mostly part of Zoo decks. This card was also part of the deck called Gruel Beats, where it won Pro Tour Honolulu back in 2006. Sleight of Hand was a blue sorcery card that will let you look at the top 2 cards of your library, and you can put 1 in your hand and 1 at the bottom of your deck. This was used mostly in the modern format as it was part of Storm and Ad Nauseam decks, while also being part of the winning deck in World 2006 in Paris, France. Elvish Piper was a 1/1 green shaman creature that has the ability to pay 1 green mana and tap in order to put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. This card is mostly seen in the Commander format as a way to easily bring out large creatures from your hand. Annex was a blue aura enchantment that lets you take control of an opponent's land. This is mostly used as a sideboard card in the Standard format and would usually be included in Tron decks. Seedborn Muse was a green spirit creature that has the ability to untap all permanents you control during each other's untap step. This is seen in the Commander format as a way to have your mana sources essentially at all times of the game while this card is on the battlefield. This is also seen in control strategies as a way to keep an opponent's strategy at bay. Paladin Invec was a 2/2 human knight creature that has first strike and protection from black and red. This card was mostly seen in white-blue weenie decks in the 2006 French Nationals, but was also part of the standard hand-in-hand deck that got a semi-final placing in Pro Tour Honolulu in 2006. Greater Good was a green enchantment spell that lets you sacrifice a creature to draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's toughness, then discard 3 cards. This card is mostly seen in green commander decks as a form of card draw, as green decks are known for extremely large and powerful creatures. Wrath of God was the white sorcery card that destroyed all creatures and they cannot be regenerated. In the Standard format, it was seen in 6 total top 8 decks between 2 world competitions and obtaining 2 second place finishes. This card also saw inclusions in Tron, Enduring Ideal, and Jeskai Control. Early Harvest was a green instant spell that has the effect of targeting a player and untapping all basic lands that person controls. This is only seen in 4 total decks, but was in 2 decks in the Standard format and 2 decks in the Extended format, which were all named Heartbeat. This can also be used in the Commander format as a form of mana ramp. Blood Moon was a red enchantment that makes all non-basic lands mountains. This card is mostly used against multicolored decks to slow down or shut down an opponent's strategy. Blood Moon has been seen in a variety of legacy and modern decks such as Blue Moon, Affinity, Mardu, and Twin deck strategies, along with being involved with over 150 top 8 professional decks. Savannah Lions was a 2/1 white vanilla creature that has been seen since the beginning of Magic the Gathering. In the Standard format of its time, it was seen in decks such as Zoo, Orzhov, and Weenie decks, with blue-white weenies being the winning French Nationals deck. The best that this card has done was during Worlds of 2006, where it had 2 top 8 appearances along with being part of 2 Day 1 undefeated decks. Pyroclasm was a red sorcery card that has the effect of dealing 2 damage to each creature. This is Red's version of a board wipe in the early game, as it was cheap and could take out a significant number of low-level creatures. This card has also seen plenty of play in both Modern and Legacy, and when it has been in Standard, it is included in many decks that include the color red. Decks that Pyroclasm has been a part of have been Death Shadow, Zoo, Lantern Control, Jund, along with Tron. Boomerang was a blue instant spell that has the effect of returning a target permanent to its owner's hand. In the Standard format, this was seen in 3 different decks that all made the top 8 list of Pro Tour Honolulu. It was also seen in the Extended and even the Pauper format as it won a professional event as an inclusion in the deck called Tireless Tribe. The last notable card on this list was the card Mana Leak. This was a blue instant spell that countered a target spell unless that controller spell pays 3 generic mana. In the Standard format, it was seen in decks such as Critical Mass, Blue-White Weenie, and most notably in the Blue-White Tron decks as well. Between most of the formats, it has been seen in over 500 professional top 8 decks, as it has been a great early game counter against most opponents. A sealed booster box of 9th edition is worth around $350. So that's all for this episode of Card Anthology from Magic the Gathering. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you leave a like and share the video. Be sure to also subscribe to the channel for more videos such as this one, and if you'd like to support the channel in other ways, be sure to make a monthly donation to our Patreon page, or by making a one-time donation through our PayPal link by clicking on the link in the video description. If you also missed our previous episode of our Saviors of Kamigawa, check out that episode after finishing this video. Our next episode will be over the set Ravnica's City of Guilds, so be on the lookout for that episode soon. That's all I have today, everyone. Coach over here signing out, and I will see you all next time.